everybody, Pandi here. Hello. Pandi here of Pandi's Hair Candy and More. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, you already know what it is. Kick back, relax. We are getting ready to chop it up. We are coming back with our review and commentary on Cherish the Day. We are in season 1, episode 4. It is titled Basis. Now, for the most part over here, my channel consists of wigs and hair reviews, TV show commentary, game shows. It's just a whole wide variety of content that you can expect to find on the channel. Right now, we're going to get into this TV show review. It is on the show Cherish the Day. It is a new show that is currently trending on the OWN network, the Oprah Winfrey Network. It is produced and written by Ava DuVernay. The show is actually pretty good, so we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. And again, this is season 1, episode 4, and it's titled Basis. So, basically, the scene is, it's the hottest day of the year in California. Evan's planning on whisking gently away on a romantic getaway. So the episode actually begins off, we see Pops outside the crib in his yard watering the grass. Evan kind of approaches him unannounced, asking if they can talk. Now once they get inside, he sees that basically they're deep. All Gently's uncles are in there. They're basically preparing breakfast because he does like a real early morning pop-up. They're cooking, they're setting the table. It's about maybe 6 or 7 of them up in there. So once he gets inside, he sees that, all her uncles are in there. He lets Pops know that he came over to basically talk, and they're like, well, talk. Okay. He was like, privately, and they gave him a look like, if you don't set your behind down, boy, basically there's no secrets. Now, we got to keep in mind that Gently's biological father, he's passed. And so all these men who, keep in mind now, they're in the hood, they're former gangbangers. They pretty much have taken it upon themselves to look after Gently and raise her as their own, being that her mom has been in and out of her life due to drugs or whatever. So they tell him to sit his behind down, and basically they finish preparing the breakfast. They go around the table just kind of sharing their unique roles that they played in Gently's life and raising the young Gently. Now they pray over the food and they reminisce over the absence of her biological father. And Evan tells the group of older men that, he recognizes and respects them all for standing in the place of Gently's Pops in his absence. And then he proceeds to tell them that he wants to marry her, and he came to basically get their blessing. Now, all her uncles seem to admire this action from Evan, and they basically give their stamp of approval. And they welcome him to the family. Now, after they finish breakfast, the Pops walks him out to his car, and then Evan turns around as he's getting ready to head to his car. He remembers that he forgot to show him the ring. So he comes back up to the porch and he shows Pops the ring. And in that moment, you can actually see the pride on Pop's face, and he assures Evan that Gently is going to love it. Now, next we see Evan return home to Gently. They chat for a bit about the fact that he's going to be signing for his new office today. Because remember, he wanted to start that new app company. So the show is basically progressing. So he's going to go sign for that. And then Gently checks the temperatures for the day and realizes that it is, in fact, going to be the hottest day. And due to the extremely dry temperatures, because she takes care of Miss Luma, who is an elderly woman played by Miss Cicely Tyson, she expresses concerns because Miss Luma has this weak air conditioner, like a window unit. And basically, her house is burning up. So she, kind of expresses concerns on that. So then we see Gently and Miss Luma sitting in front of this box fan in the window and the window unit AC. They're sweating, they're fanning, they look hot and sticky. And, she's just kind of sharing a story with Gently, just kind of chatting with her about all of the adversity that she faced as a young actress. And, Gently is just amazed at, how much she was actually able to push through with all the adversity that she faced coming up. So the doorbell rings. It's Evan. He pops up. No. I'm jumping ahead. We next then see Evan and one of his business associates doing a walkthrough at the new empty office space. The associate is expressing concern over the rent being over their budget, and then they flash back to Miss Luma's house, where again they're sitting in front of the fan, they're kind of fanning, and the doorbell rings. It's Evan. He basically does a pop up visit, and he tells Gently, because she's asking questions like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Can a brother just miss you?" And she's like, "Okay, but I do have a job." Well, while they're talking at the door, here comes Miss Luma walking out with her hat and sunglasses on. And Gently's like, "Well, what are you doing? Where are you going?" She's like, "Oh, my ride is here." So Gently was like, "Okay." So she goes back in the house, and when she goes back in, it becomes clear to us that basically Evan and Miss Luma were conspiring this all along. They had prearranged to make plans for Miss Luma to make other alternative care for herself so that he could whisk her off for this romantic weekend giveaway. And Miss Luma kind of teases Evan and balls up her fist at him and was like, "You better take good care of my girl." So I think she's already aware that he's planning to ask for Gently's hand in marriage. And then basically they get in the car and they go. Now again, Gently's real confused, like what's going on. She comes back down. He tells her about the fact that he would like to, take her away on a romantic getaway. So they hit the road heading to Malibu. They're kicking it on the way. They're enjoying music. They're singing along. They even discussed the new office space. Apparently, even though Jado, which was his business associate, was initially against the cost of the rent, he ultimately was able to convince him that the benefits outweighed the risk. So once they arrive at their destination, they're pleasantly surprised by these breathtaking ocean views. Um, then they unpack and, they kind of get settled and they decide they're going to go on a hike. Well, they have this like weird moment where Evan's kind of telling her about the times that he used to come up to this particular location with his grandfather and how he got lost once. So he's like overly prepared and packed with all these safety devices. And in that moment, once they actually get out on the hike, he bends down for something. I think he's tying his shoe, and he looks up and he realizes that Gently has stepped away from him. So he goes into panic mode. He starts freaking out. He starts yelling for her. She's not responding, and it was this weird scene. So then she finally comes back to the surface, and he's all hyperventilated. And he's like, don't ever do that. You can get lost out here. You have to stick together. Don't wander off. So they get back to their little suite and she's acting really weird. So Evan hops in the shower and she begins to snoop through his belongings. And then, bam, she discovers the ring. So I'm guessing that she was already kind of, she was kind of shocked and trying to figure out. I guess it was so random and weird to her to have a man come and want to whisk her away for a romantic weekend that she was just suspicious. She figured something had to be up. She just wasn't used to being treated so nice, I guess. So she finds the ring. Now, most women in her position would have been ecstatic, but she actually appears to be disappointed. So, as Evan gets out of the shower, he has already made dinner reservations at this little swanky romantic restaurant that's obviously located in the little resort area that they're staying. And she's still behaving very oddly at dinner, considering what the mood should be under the circumstances. Now, he was so thoughtful about the trip. He packed her belongings, he packed a beautiful gown for her to wear for dinner. Um, and he even had them, I guess she likes the Little Debbie snack cakes. He had the restaurant go as far as to prepare this like double stacked Debbie cheesecake, Little Debbie's cheesecake dessert thing. She was blown away by that, but she was still acting very unimpressed. Now, during dinner, he also has the restaurant come through with a few guys with instruments, kind of like a little miniature band, and they serenade her. And then he pops the question. It was very romantic, and even though she accepted the proposal during the dinner, she was still very visibly not present, if that makes sense. Now, he's excited as they're walking and talking. He's planning and making arrangements, and she just breaks out and out of nowhere tells him that, she needs time. She just needs some time. And Evan is crushed. She's so confused and she hands him the ring back and he leaves her out there on the beach. He's distraught. He walks back to the bar there at the restaurant and he basically asks the bartender if he knows someone that can sell the ring for him. Now, the bartender was like, if you don't mind me asking, how many carats is that? And he's like, 10. And the bartender was like, whoa, if you're going to go through all the hassle of getting that kind of ring for somebody, why don't you take a couple of days to think about it before you do anything drastic? So even the bartender was exercising judgment. He didn't want to just, take the ring back from him and go get a sale for him because, it could work itself out. So then he goes back to the room, gently sitting there. She's still trying to talk to him and get him to open up and have a conversation. And he's just like ignoring her. He starts packing, telling her that basically they have nothing to talk about. He's like, you said no, so now you got all the time you need. So they drive from the getaway place, wherever they were staying in Malibu. They don't speak. He drops her off, but he has not spoken a word, not one single word to her. He's totally devastated at trying to figure her out. Next, we see she's sitting on the porch after he dropped her off. She's crying to Pops. Pops is just kind of like sitting there, frustrated, like, I mean, why are you self sabotaging this good relationship? This man obviously loved you. He's trying to make it happen for you. He's trying to, make your life better and easier. And he just doesn't get it. So she's crying and all that good stuff. She's telling Pops that she just couldn't say yes. And Pops is trying to talk some sense into her about the lack of trust. He then gives her his car keys and tells her, go back and get your man. Now, next we go back to Evan's crib. He's there talking to his brother-in-law. Well, really, I want to say the brother-in-law is more so talking to him. Evan's just kind of like laying there on the sofa in a state of, I think he was just crushed. He was visibly shook by the fact that, she wanted to give him the ring back and all that good stuff. So he's not really paying attention. He's there, but he's not present. You know what I mean? So that happens. The brother-in-law is trying to explain to him that he basically dodged a bullet. And then he even goes further to tell him that he really doesn't teach on certain nights a week that I guess the whole family thinks he teaches. He actually has an apartment, a secret apartment that he escapes to get a break from Evan's sister. Evan then snaps out of it and just looks at him like, what? He was like, no offense, I know it's your sister and all. At that moment, we hear a voice calling from outside. They're kind of sitting like on his outdoor patio balcony area. So we hear a voice. It's Gently's voice. Evan's like, did you hear that? He gets up and he walks over to the balcony and he sees Gently standing down there. And his brother-in-law tells him, don't do it, man. You're free. And she starts declaring her love to him and everything as he looks on from the balcony. She tells him that she got scared, but she realizes that she made a mistake. She wants to be by his side. And so in that moment, he goes downstairs, he drops to his knees, and he proposes again. This time she accepts and they giggle. He scoops her up off her feet, carries her inside, and that is pretty much where the episode ended. So you guys, this show is definitely taking off. It's starting to move along a lot faster than when it first began. Basically, it seems like, we've already established they come from two totally different backgrounds. She comes from the hood, where immediately following high school, she went off to travel the world. She's kind of like a free spirit. He comes from a more structured background where, he's Ivy League, he attended Stanford. And so it's like one of those opposite attracts type things. It's getting good though, you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you caught episode 4 and what your thoughts are. What are you guys' thoughts? Let me know if I left anything out. Please comment down below. I appreciate your feedback. Again, I'm Pandi of Pandi's Hair, Candy, and More. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do enjoy the commentary over here, please go ahead and smash that like button. It's free 99. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you're really enjoying it, go ahead and subscribe. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.